anyone have suggestions once you become more informed about racism, white supremacy, ways to minimize conflict and those, what is it, Mr. Nero, those hostile and combative hack relationships? I can say my own. I really make an effort to limit the amount of contact I have with non-white people, and especially the amount of contact I have with non-white people who are very confused about racism, white supremacy. Like, I really try to limit the amount of time that I have with them, just because I expect confused behavior. Like, even if they're not hostile, it's just difficult for me to be around other victims who are very confused. I'm still confused myself, and it's like if I'm trying to solve a math problem and, you know, I'm doing it like D level in a class, it's not constructive for me to go around people who are at the F level. Like, I'm not doing very well, and I definitely don't want to be hanging out with other people who are doing worse than me. So I'd rather be by myself and struggle with my D's than to go down and I might slip and fail. I hope that is clear. And I found that it makes the contact that you do have so constructive. If you really try to focus it and have contact with other non-white people who are about racism, white supremacy, you will be sharing constructive information, ideas. It'll really give you an opportunity to see, you know, how well you can apply. Nothing beats white people. Be very clear, nothing beats white people. But it can give you an opportunity to really kind of bounce ideas off and just see, you know, can you not name call? Can you be courteous with another victim? So I'd say if you can find non-white people who are informed about racism, that's great. And I would say just please, as long as the system of white supremacy exists, you are going to be harmed, mistreated by non-white people. Like, you should just expect that. That's a part of the program, and you are going to, I suspect, have to pick and choose times when you're going to be mistreated by a non-white person. You're just going to have to figure out the best way to go about dealing with that. It's going to happen. Mark it down. Figure out the best ways of minimizing that and dealing with it without creating more problems. Yeah, I would say that's going to be a big counter-racist assignment, and I'll end with that.
Okay. You know, it reminds me of what Neely Fuller says: minimize. You know, you basically minimize conflict by minimizing contact. You know, and I agree with you. You know, the best way for me to stay out of conflict with non-white people who I don't care to fight with at all is to minimize my contact with people who are nowhere, you know, who just not on my page at all. It's difficult when it comes to family relationships, but I can't let anybody turn me. You know, I've fought too long to even get as far as I have, and I'm not willing to go backwards. And I don't, you know, whether that means, you know, whatever. I'm just not willing to go backwards at this point. I got too far to go.
Hey, Gus, can I be heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
This is 8162, and I just wanted to say that I find something that has helped me quite a bit is to see through everybody's victimization and look for their humanity, that it's in there somewhere, and it's either in their art or their cooking or their self-expression of some type, and to appreciate that about them and their being on this earth. And I think Pam said that, something about, you know, just searching for some aspect of humanity when we view other victims. And I just want to put that out there.
Yeah. And, you know, by minimizing contact, I don't mean, you know, cutting yourself off completely. I don't mean not interacting with people. I think you can try to do it in positive ways. It's just that when people run with big crowds, you know, like some people, they've got 1 million friends, that's just begging for conflict. So I just mean in the sense of having this, it's up to the individual, though, But for me, having a lot of social, like going out to nightclubs and hanging out and involving myself with large numbers of people, I just don't find that productive.
Can I be heard?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I agree with what Gus said 100%. It's like I almost have to make appointments with non-white people when it's not a work situation. If I'm gonna have a discussion, I like to do that. That's important to me. I same thing with television and whatnot. Like I have to be thinking. I have to be on my guard and thinking that, okay, this is what I'm doing here. I'm about to, watch this movie or whatever the case may be. Make sure it's constructive and whatnot. And another thing is empathy. Like I could dare say that I don't have a problem with black females. I didn't want to say that the other night because I just didn't feel like saying it because everybody was kind of like agreeing that you're gonna have a problem with black females if you're a male, blah blah blah. But the reason why I can say that I don't have problems with black females is because I empathize with them. I understand that we're in a system of racism, white supremacy. So any behavior that's exhibited that causes racism, white supremacy. It's a reaction to racism, white supremacy. I mean, that to me seems it seems to be the correct way to. It's mature. It's a mature thing to do. It's like I understand. So yeah, I've been cussed out and rudely addressed and whatnot, but I don't consider that to be a problem, and it doesn't escalate at all because I understand where that's coming from, and I've even de-escalated situations like that by my understanding. So you have to understand what the context of the situation is. So I would really just say understand that. That's very constructive, just to understand the system, and when people come at you in different ways, is due to the system, and that's all. I think you'll have some pretty good results if you do that. I know I have.
Being truthful, I think that goes right with what 909 said. Being willing to be honest. Pam's truth shall set you free. Being okay, recognizing and accepting even what they call uncomfortable truth. And it's going to be a whole lot of that as long as white supremacy exists. And I think we even got sound clips of some of that because I know Mr. Nero, I think he did a great job just being honest in diffusing some conflict many, many episodes back. I think 909 had made a comment or something, and it could have produced a lot of conflict. And Mr. Nero hey, just be honest. And I think that did a lot to minimize conflict. So I think anytime that you can be honest about a situation, particularly if white supremacy, white man, white woman, if they are to blame, and most likely that's going to be true, just be honest about that.